Alright, Derek. Oh, wait. No, Speletons, Zinker, Derek. Derek's right here. See him? He's about to fuck over this Altaria. Great. Now, before we start anything, for those of you who watch our series a lot, do you guys want to see us do the post-game? Comment. And also, like. That's irrelevant to that, but comment and let us know you want us to do post-game in this game. Determine whether we, make it like a main series or not, or we just do it once, or we just don't do it at all. It's on you. You gotta be like, oh, I want to see it. Okay, great.
So if we don't do it, it's your fault. You will have to live with that guilt for the rest of your life. You are the reason we didn't do it.
Yes.
And then everyone else isn't going to be able to see it because you didn't say you wanted to.
To be fair, I feel like they could
Enjoy
just
telling your
request
kids
it
that
at any
story.
time. Be like, hey, I want to see it. And there's like, we're not, our fan, our fan base isn't that big right now. So yeah, it'd probably get done. Or if it's like Suedo in the future, everyone just came back, watched this series, like, man, I really want to see him pull the post game 5 years in the future for some reason. Maybe there's also another quarantine going on.
Yeah.
That too.
Us from our like bunkers, us from our barrels underground.
Yeah. The next
So
quarantine.
here we are back in
Hey, Scizor!
this game.
Scizor, more
Zinker,
like
that's my quarantine strategy.
dead or
Barrel in the
haha,
ground.
because I'm burning him alive. Get it? You get the joke? You understand the joke? Anyhow, you started to say something that you wanted to like switch to. What's going on?
I did.
Yeah, previous episodes, like if we're done
When
with
did I do
this
that?
topic, and I was like, yeah, but I actually wasn't done.
Oh,
Remember that?
I think I did.
No, you did.
I definitely said that. I just don't think I don't think I had anything. See, I'm good at bluffing.
Telling me you're a fucking liar?
Excuse you, I'm a bluffer.
That's just a liar. That's just a liar, but they do it
Zinker,
for poker! Poker, I hardly even know her! No means... No! I don't...
Zinker, I was thinking about this earlier. It's not, or I know you don't, I know you hate the existence of JoJo, but I think it was something that happened in the show at one point that I think you would at least find funny.
I am not watching JoJo again.
I'm not gonna make you watch it. I'm just gonna tell you about it.
Okay. That's less upsetting.
So there's a guy who basically he basically challenges people to shadow games over poker, where you bet your soul on the game.
So
and
ripped off Yu-Gi-Oh.
Yeah.
Animal Crossing ripped off JoJo.
Yes.
Or JoJo ripped off
and,
Animal Crossing. It's unclear which did it first.
Unless Animal Crossing had the outfit first, they ripped it.
They might have. When JoJo started.
So, the character that wears basically the outfit you're talking about was in I think that anime came out in 2016, and the manga was out well before that.
Oh, okay. Oh, well, when the manga come out?
Well before that.
Which was...
Let me look it up. Okay, I don't know. I don't read.
Because New Leaf might have had it, for certain. And if New Leaf had it,
it was, that part of JoJo was, the manga was coming out between 1989 and 1992. JoJo's old if you didn't know that. 89 to 92.
Jesus
That's when
Christ.
that's when that part was coming out.
Okay, well, then I guess...
Yeah, JoJo's old.
No wonder why it sucks. It's the boomer anime. That's right. I don't like JoJo.
It's based on
and I don't know.
Manga.
That also explains Yes by...
So,
Roundabout by Yes. Which is a good song.
Yeah.
But... you would only see that in a boomer anime. Boomers are invading our anime.
So anyways, that the guy that they were basically fighting, they basically played poker, and they had to bet their souls on it, and the guy was cheating basically the whole time, and the entire time he kept saying like it's not cheating unless you get caught, unless you get caught during it, which he's not wrong really.
I guess so.
And so like
That's fair.
and like someone tried to cheat something earlier, and he caught the cheat. No, he didn't catch. No, I don't think he caught the cheat. He caught the cheat, but he was able to win just around it essentially. Because he figured it out and beat it out.
Oh.
So then he was playing poker against the protagonist, who would bet his soul.
Yeah.
And he was trying. There were two other people who had already lost their souls, so he was trying to win their souls back too. And there were like two other people I think there with him, and then there was also one person that was there. No, there was one person there with him. There was one person who was in the hospital that they were traveling with, and on the one hand he had he had like a couple of chips to represent his soul, and it was like five chips, and he only had like 2 left or something like that. He basically bets, or the guy's cheating, and he knows like he's got like a great poker hand, because like the guy who's dealing, he basically had paid off to cheat for him, and the protagonist wasn't aware of how he was cheating, just that he probably was, and like because like they just kept talking about that the whole time, and so they like deal the cards or whatever. The protagonist leaves his cards on the table. He doesn't like touch them at all. Leaves them face down, and he basically like goes all in, or he puts like his chips in, the guy puts his chips in to like match him, and then the protagonist basically like raises him someone else that he's with soul, and the guy's like, what the fuck are you doing, like and
how are you doing
like,
this?
because like, and he gets, this is also where I kind of where I got the idea to try to freak out the gravedigger, is the guy calls up, or is like going to like call up to him, and he doesn't even call up yet. He's like, why? He's basically trying to like, he's like, why are you like doing that? Like, why you haven't even looked at your cards? Like, why are you betting the other person's soul? And he also like uses his stand in front of the guy to light a cigarette that's in his mouth, just to show off that basically that he has a stand too. And the guy's like, oh, he must be cheating, but like, how is he cheating? Like, what could he possibly be doing? The guy stacked the deck, so he knew that he had like good cards already. So he's like, I know he's got shitty cards, like, he had the dealer stack the deck.
Yeah.
So the guy's like, I know he's got shitty cards. What the fuck is this man doing? Like, there's no way. Like, unless he's cheating. But if he's cheating, how is he doing it? And the protagonist is like, basically like, you want more? All right, I'll raise you the soul of the guy in the hospital.
What guy in the hospital?
The guy that they were with, that he got injured earlier in the season, so he was in the hospital and he wasn't like around for a while. And so he bets his soul too, and the guy's like, what's going on? Like, the guy's like, and the protagonist is like, but wait, I'm not done yet. I'll also bet the soul of every single person in my family.
Jesus Christ!
The guy who's like he's playing against is like freaking out, like, how can he be, like, he's gotta be cheating, how can he be doing this, like, he's like, what's he doing, he's gotta know something. And basically he ends up getting like so worked up about it and like unsure that he basically ends up passing out, which is in this the game is essentially taken and it's forfeiting, because he gets so freaked out about it.
Why?
And
Zinker! I mean, Derek, you just killed Gasolina! Why would you do that, you dick? He was going to heal you.
He'll live. He's a ghost. He's a ghost.
Fucking asshole, man.
But basically he bluffed so hard he made his opponent freak out and pass out and lose because of it. Just because he bluffed so hard, he didn't have anything good at all. He did absolutely nothing. But
yeah,
I just thought you might appreciate the protagonist just doing all these things to freak out his opponent so much that he bluffed so hard he made someone who was like cheating and sure to win freak out.
I do appreciate that. I would find it funnier though that guy is cheating with stack decks, and I don't even look at. Also, they stole that book out of like Yu-Gi-Oh essentially, but I find it funny if I
mean,
like,
that's a classic thing, Zinker. The Yu-Gi-Oh! Yu-Gi-Oh! Didn't exist in 1989.
How do you know that was in the manga? You don't.
It's probably not.
I got you. You don't know. Anyhow,
and then
what was I gonna say?
So later in the show too.
I was gonna say if I was in that situation, I would be so lucky. I would still have the right cards. Okay, I'm very
the
strong
dealer
now.
fucked up. So something else kind of funny that happens later on is there's this guy's brother basically traps 3 of the protagonists in his world, essentially, where he basically makes them bet their soul on playing a video game against him, because guy's just pro gamer.
Okay.
And first person plays and play like a racing game, and he basically just loses due to anime bullshit.
Right.
The guy who played was like also like, oh, I'm like fucking amazing at this. I play this all the time.
Right.
He loses anime bullshit. So then the protagonist, he's a 17, they say 17-year-old, doesn't look it, because like that's how characters are drawn.
Yeah.
But he's never played a video game in his life. They play a baseball game, and the first like inning, the guy, he basically just spends like learning what the controls are. What the brother, the guy who's challenging them, what his ability does basically is, if he asks someone a yes or no question, he can always, no matter what, or if he asks someone a yes or no question, he can see what the answer is, if it's either yes or no.
Okay.
So like, if he were to say like, are you gonna throw a fast, because it's a baseball game, like if the guy was pitching, he's like, are you gonna throw a fastball? And the guy said no, but he was thinking about throwing a fastball, then it would say like yes. It would say like yes, basically, so he'd know what he's doing.
Okay.
So he could figure out what his opponent's doing.
Okay.
And what happens partway through is the guy is like asking him like what kind of pitch you gonna throw? You gonna throw it here? And the protagonist is like, starts happening is the protagonist basically starts telling him, hey, I'm gonna throw a fastball right down the middle or whatever. And it would say like, the guy watching it'd say like, or would see it, look, and it'd say like yes, like he'd be like, or it would tell him like, yeah, he's gonna do it, he's not lying. And he would when he like went to pitch, it would not be a fastball, and the guy'd be like, what the fuck, how is he getting around my ability? He's like, you must be cheating or some shit. And he's like, well, yeah, but like, it's not cheating if you can't figure it out.
Nice.
And they basically took a page out of the other guy's book of like, it's not cheating if you can't figure it out.
Well, what is he doing? Now I want to know what he's doing. You can't just leave it like that.
So this keeps happening. The guy's like freaking out because like he can't figure out what's going on. And I remember if there was a difference in the score or not. The protagonist like suddenly started doing well or not.
Derek,
are
you going to attack things? You just sat there and died, dumbass.
I was busy talking.
Okay.
It's great. Right now, we're just walking through here, Zinker. I'm just standing behind you, telling you about JoJo, while you're like fighting through this temple.
I'm just so mad because like, I guess it's because I have it set to follow me instead of let's go together. But I'm still kind of pissed about that. Kind of stupid.
Basically, what ended up happening was every time the guy couldn't figure it out, and he ended up like he ended up basically doing kind of the same thing, freaking out and passing out, and they ended up winning.
Oh, cool.
Because of that. And afterwards they show what they were doing, and what they were doing is just the protagonist had the controller, but the other person that was there with him was kind of standing kind of out of his sight and controlling it for him. So he was basically controlling the controller remotely. So like the reason that the protagonist 100% intended to pitch a fastball, but the other guy was controlling it. So like, you know, he was the one who was making it go where it was going.
I see. I would have just like switched up what I was going to do after I told him. That's what I was hoping what it was. So, not gonna lie.
No, because
little disappointed.
Well, because if you had the intention, Zinker, like I'm gonna switch it up, then he would see then he could tell.
I wouldn't have the intention until he asked me the question.
If your intention, the way they, I just tried to describe it quickly. The way they showed it, there was no just getting around because of that. Because I think he tried to do that and it didn't work. It still wasn't working.
Okay.
I think that is like, you wouldn't like the rest of it, but that's one thing you would appreciate is just how often like very specific wording, or like how they pay attention to very specific wording and use that to their advantage.
I don't remember what I was gonna say, what I was gonna do, who I am, or what I'm doing.
Like,
who are you?
Zinker, if there was ever a show that would have if there was ever a show that would have a space wall that they call a wall, and because of that your ability that only destroys ceilings can't affect it, this would be the show.
Nice. Do I take all
There's
those?
also a lot of just oddly very specific. There's also just a lot of very oddly specific abilities. Like the one person who can take a remotely take an image of someone, but in order to do so, he has to destroy a 3,000 yen camera.
Okay. You know, I thought
I don't know why it's
to
that
the end of this
specific, but
dungeon. Oh, so I guess the last episode was 23 minutes.
it's only 6 floors.
Yeah, we got a more. Oh, I just realized that that's not a teammate. That's right. There's only us 3. Oh, hey, the stairs. I was just curious because like it's been 20 minutes, but it took us longer to get through those. It's because we got so lucky on those earlier floors. Because I think this is going to be the penultimate episode. I'll keep going it. We'll save the final boss and the whole ending to the story for the last episode. So this episode will keep going. Because I don't want it to accidentally be too short if we get something, we get good RNG or whatever. That's annoying. That's annoying to deal with. I don't want to deal with that right now.
Does
Alright.
Flygon know earthquake?
No, I don't think he knows it in this yet, fortunately. At this level. That'd be so bad. Magma Cavern had all the multi-hit moves. I was surprised I didn't even realize the fucking Masquerain knew Omnis Wind. Or the Venomoth, Silverwind. To be fair, at this point, I think I had Blizzard, which was extremely helpful. Flygon, however, does know Sandstorm sometimes, and that's really fucking annoying. Also, Derek, you just take damage. And you hate being alive, I see.
That's my job.
I guess so. Because you hate doing it. The Sandstorm is really annoying. Especially if you begin on the floor with Flygon.
Reminds me, I'll talk about it next time, but I played D&D earlier. And,
that's what you're gonna use for the final episode? You're gonna talk about D&D?
Is that the final episode next?
Next episode, I almost don't even want to revive you here, because I literally just said it. I'm saying this episode's going to be the penultimate episode, which means the next episode's going to be the last one.
Was this one almost done, or like
no,
are we almost there?
We're going on until we reach 434 staircase. So, I don't know how long that'll be.
I have time, so...
That's not... We're out of time, yeah.
True.
But we're just gonna... we're just gonna keep it in this one.
You said we're out of time, so I thought we were starting a new one. I wasn't sure. I was also just thinking about what I was going to say, rather than listening to what you were saying, which was apparently relevant.
It's always relevant, Derek. When have I said something that hasn't been relevant? You know what sucks? By the time you finish just talking about why you weren't listening, it's gonna be too late. Okay, this one doesn't appear to know earthquake.
So I was playing D&D earlier,
sure were.
And I was pretty happy with myself. My intuition was very on the dot for a couple of things.
That's good.
We were basically navigating a labyrinth.
Alright.
I'd been to this labyrinth once before. I completely forgot everything about it because it was probably like a year ago, but I've been there before.
Okay.
And I was like deja vu.
I've been in this place before. Higher in the streets, and I know it's my time for calling on you to eat my fucking asshole.
There were scarecrows with like fire in their chests, and
oh cool.
As soon as the DM mentioned that like, oh, these scarecrows have like a fire in their chest, I was like, okay, so everyone, just so you know, or just saying, we probably should be a little careful because I just get the feeling from these things' appearance that they might explode when they die, and everyone's like, well, it's probably not, but like. You're crazy, and so we every time that we so like we killed one. Someone just ran up and killed one in like one attack, and afterwards DM's like, all right, cool, roll a D100. Person rolls a D100. He's like, it's a low number, and he's like, cool, nothing happens. And I was like, and they're all like, see, nothing happened. See, like, we're fine. And I was like, well, I think we just got lucky there. Probably should be careful. And throughout the dungeon, most of the time that they died, had to roll that D100. They never exploded, but that was the thing that was going. They never did explode. We never got whatever was going to make them explode. But that was what they were gonna do. It was spot on. My intuition was correct.
They never did it.
Because we were told that they would have.
Oh, nice.
And then
is that
we just
really
got lucky
intuition,
and they never
or
did.
is that
But,
you just knowing everything?
I don't know what these creatures. Well, Zinker, I don't know what these creatures are at all. They were just kind of like made. They were just kind of constructs that like there's like I just looked at them and I was like, well, they're probably gonna explode. If I had to guess, there's a risk of them exploding. They seem like the kind of dudes that might explode. So then later, this is more where my intuition was correct. We were walking through and we found a room, and in this room was a there were just like spikes on the walls, and there was like a
around the spikes.
a second level where that was like that you could reach with a ladder.
A crack on the spike on the walls of the hall?
Nothing.
And inside that crack was and in that crack was there was a slime in the crack and the spikes in the hall and the wall and the walls in the hall. And in that slime there was bacteria. So there's bacteria in the slime and the spike in the crack and the spikes and the spikes on the wall and the wall and the halls. Sorry, that's really difficult. But someday, that's an improv game. Just to come up with one of those. It's a very
we walked
stupid
past
one,
the room
but
and we saw like spikes in there and someone else was like, I really don't want to go in there. There's spikes everywhere. And I was like, well, I feel like we should at least like take a look. Like I want at least like I was a Metagross. I want to just like take a look, see what's up.
Some boys have Metagross.
So and because like I saw the second floor and I was like, well, like and I was like, well, maybe there's something useful up there or whatnot. My initial concern was that the spikes might close in on us or something like that. Do the classic spikes are gonna pinch you kind of thing,
and
moving walls. So I was pretty sure that like I'd be able to. There was the way the room was structured. If that was the case, I was sure that I would have been able to get out or get to a safe spot. So I like took like one step in, and once I did, I looked on top or like on the second level, and there's a dude up there, and he's like in like a robe and armor. And I looked at him, and my immediate thought was, and he's like, "Hey, what you doing in here?" And I was like, "Oh, just we're just guests, just taking a look around. I'm just here admiring the architecture. I like your little spikes there. Be great for using some wind magic and blowing people into them. And guys, and that's not exactly what happened. Basically, I was just kind of like giving casual conversation with this man, and then and he was like, hey, and he basically said to me, hey, why don't you like come in here, come over here, I want to like, why don't you come up here, I got like something for you. And he's trying to be nice, and I was like, I don't really think I want to. And I was like, well, it was nice stopping by, but I got more things to see on this tour, so
no! I wasn't ready! Oh my god! What? Well, alright. I guess that we'll pick up from here, but
is this?
Finish up your story. Yeah, the fucking bullshit ass told me 4:35! 4:35! And it's 4:34! What the fuck?
Basically the guy tried to get me to like come into the room, and I was like, no, I think we're gonna leave. And then afterwards, like, and he's like, no, you really should come in. And I was like, no, we're really gonna leave. And he was like, all right. And he was like, fine. And he shot a crossbow bolt at me, and I have gloves of missile snaring, so which basically let me stop projectiles. So he shot it. My character caught the bolt and just handed, and I was standing next to our rogue, so I just kind of handed him the arrow in like a casual motion to be all cool like. And I was like, oh, it was nice seeing you, we're gonna go. And sure enough, this man was a wind elemental in disguise, whose whole goal was to use this room full of spikes to blow us into the spikes. I nailed it exactly of what the plan was.
Next time on Speletons. Bye-bye. Oh.
I was very happy.
Yeah, I'm sure you were, buddy. I'm sure you were.